Arkham City, The Order of the World, issue 5, Dan Waters writing with Danny on art. And this, I always appreciate a nice structure in a book. And I think this has a nice simple structure where it sort of bounces back and forth between our doctor at Dr. Phosphorus's place, having some dinner, and going out of her mind a little bit, to the apparent ghost of Amadeus Arkham, although we now know it's a patient, basically recruiting and breaking out all of the patients who are in the hospital that have been gathered there. And there's some good creepy moments that come from that.
Everything with the 10-eyed man in this issue is pure gold.
Oh yeah, the 10-eyed man saying to the nurse or whoever it is, do you have any spare eyes? Before, and then it cuts, we go to a new scene, right? I know, so I'm guilty of saying cuts to in a comic all the time when you know what I mean. We go to a different scene. But that transition of do you have any spare eyes? And I'm like, that's a really creepy thing to say. So the fact that she actually...
And he's like crawling on the floor towards her as well. Like it's not just like a regular person saying it.
And the fact that she actually does show up later and you see that her eyes have been taken and he's walking with 2 eyes in his hand is like, okay, that's super creepy. So then when he does it, when he threatens the same thing again to the child, the cop's son, it's like, oh shit, like.
And the way the eyes are taken as well, they're not like empty pits. It's just like there's skin over them.
Yeah,
it's like the same way how he reached and took the jaw in like the first or second issue.
Yeah. So no, really,
he was creepy as shit.
Really creepy visuals, doing a lot of stuff here. Doctor Lady's starting to like really question what she's doing and
question her own sanity.
Sanity. The others aren't being super helpful, and she's like, "No, we need to go to a hospital. After Azrael tries to like attack them, and Vampire Lady bites him, and it's like, "Okay, we have to take him to the hospital. Come on, we have to go." And they're not happy about it, but they go to the hospital. And the big thing is basically when they get to the hospital, they get there just as 10-eyed man's out there and like almost going to take this kid's eyes, and basically she looks up and sees the cop looking down at her, and basically has this like self-realization where for the first time she's feeling the resentment and the fear and
the word she uses a couple of times is disgust.
The disgust, of people and how they look at like the inmates of Arkham, and how she feels like and this actually makes her say, no, let's not go to the hospital, let's go follow wherever Ghost Lady wants to take us. Basically. So and they do meet up with the other patients, with the Amadeus Arkham ghost, and she's leading them into the sewers to a new Arkham, and the book ends with them arriving at Professor Pig's place, where he's going to make them all perfect. Because Pig was the big reveal at the end of the last issue.
Yeah. So. And so the character masquerading as Arkham is said to be No Face.
No Face, that's it, yeah.
Which I can't find anything from, but I feel Waters does a good job at just giving us a quick beat that there's this person in Gotham that can change their appearance. They're kind of a shapeshifter, but they also shift their personality to whoever they glom onto. So like if No Face was around one of the doctors, they tended to be more, compassionate, versus if they had glommed onto one of the people in the asylum, it could end up being trouble.
Yeah, because
and here they are glommed onto
Pig.
Yeah, because she says here as well that because she did kind of take after the doctors and nurses, that she actually went on did the rounds with them sometimes because she'd be helpful, because she'd feel how they feel about what they're doing. But obviously things have went awry.
Yeah.
And now she's working for Professor Pig.
Yeah, and so just that ending with Pig, that's to me such a horror movie ending. Like Pig reminds me of Leatherface a lot.
Sure.
Just this physically imposing, scary as all hell bat villain, and we don't have too many really of those. So that ending where it's Pig's whatever, that factory or whatever,
Cherry Hill Slaughter and Meatpacking.
Yeah.
Which is very Leatherface as well. The idea you just
slaughterhouse. That might have been where the Leatherface was coming from, but and we haven't really had much of Pig. Like 2 panels, and already feels menacing.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the charm. Is you can kind of just build up to Pig, and Like just the reveal that it's Pig that's behind it. You get what he's going to try to do because that's who the character is.
That might be my favorite Grant Morrison creation at this point. Is Professor Pig?
I mean, it's not a bad choice.
I mean, I like Professor Pig a lot. I'm always down for Professor Pig. I mean, obviously, it's continuing its creepy vibes that the books had the entire time. The Danny art, obviously, is still very specific in how it portrays things. And this was the penultimate issue, so we're here to see how it wraps up. And
it feels like a penultimate issue in that the Doctor, she's kind of like, okay, she's gone through most of her journey from. Yeah. Okay, I'm the Doctor. I understand. I'm going to look after these patients who I'm one of them now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's she's there, ready for just the ending now.
Well, I mean, you also have that mirroring thing where we're dealing with this no-face character who mimics and feels like the people she latches onto, and that's kind of what's happened to the Doctor. She's become one of the patients. I mean, not necessarily from the start of this book, maybe just from the start of her career as being a Doctor. The more time she spent around them, the more she's gradually drifted towards being just like them. Yeah. So there's some story stuff in there that works, and but yeah, just curious to see how it wraps up now and see kind of what the final points it makes is. So
yeah, I'm glad you guys talked me into going back and catching up because I had skipped because it was on a week that I wasn't here. So I'm glad because this book has been a nice little.
It's different from everything else you're reading. Which is
it's a nice change up. I get excited the weeks that it comes out. Since I read it digitally,
it doesn't feel like a DC book, does it?
No, I mean it does because we're dealing with Gotham and all these things,
like
but
in the
it's
tone
unconventional
style. It doesn't feel like most of the DC books. It feels like something that would be published at somewhere else. Like just it feels like a creator. It feels like a story.
Vertigo. Yeah, it feels like a Vertigo book from back in the day. But since I get it digitally, I read it basically same day. So on Tuesday, it's one of the first things I read, and I get excited when I see it sitting there. So
that's good. All right, Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5.
There you go, Connor.
Yeah, same.
Okay, I'm going to be the mean one and just give it a straight 8 then, apparently.